good afternoon, folks. My name's Lee, the virtual airline pilot. Welcome back to my channel, and possibly the first and possibly the only one of the reviews I might get out this week, because as I've said previously, I'm off to the United States to attend FlightSim Expo 24 this week. So I'm going to try and get this out to you before we go. Where are we? We're in Europe. We're in Switzerland, and this is Geneva Contrin Airport in Switzerland. Lima Sierra Golf Golf. This is a new PAYWAYS from Rdpresets, and I must thank them very much for letting me have a copy for the review. This is version 1.1 for the PC version of FlightSim 2020. The copy that I sent and that was on release was version 1, and they've since updated it and supposedly fixed a few bugs and issues, and you now have version 1.1, which should be available from Sim Market. The download is 1.24 gig and it installs at 3.13 gigabytes, and as I said, currently available from Sim Market. Price is €21.59, which equates to roughly $23.14 US, or £18.26 UK. Those prices are estimates taken from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT, which may vary depending on your own country of purchase. Now, you may remember there was a developer called Redwing who released a version of this airport for FlightSim 2020 not that long ago. So there will be obvious differences. One little difference is the price for the Rdpresets version is cheaper. So you might want to have a look at that. Anyway, let's get to features. Okay, features. We have a realistic replica of Geneva Airport, Lima Sierra Golf Golf. Complete custom modelling and texturing with PBR textures on the whole airport. A full custom high replica 3D interior. I assume that means the terminal. More than 1,000 plus clutter objects on the apron and surrounding areas. Custom ground textures, faithfully recreating the asphalt differences like in reality. Performance optimizations, accurate night lighting, custom taxiway signage, ground traffic, and many more. So there you go. Looks like an interesting product. Be interesting to see how this sticks up, or stands up as it were. Alright, let's talk history. Okay, history. Geneva Contrin Airport, Lima Sierra Golf Golf, formerly and still unofficially known as Contrin Airport, is a public-use international airport owned by Canton of Geneva and operated by GENEVA AIRPORT Company. Geneva is the second most populous city in Switzerland. The airport is located 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers northwest of the city centre. It surpassed the 15 million passengers a year mark for the first time in December 2014, and the airport serves as a hub for Swiss International Airlines and EasyJet Switzerland. It features a route network of flights mainly to European metropolitan and leisure destinations, as well as some long-haul routes to North America, China, Africa and the Middle East, amongst them Swiss International Airlines long-haul service outside of Zurich to New York JFK. In October 1919, Grand Council of Geneva approved the establishment of an airfield at Meyrin. A simple airfield was established in Contrin, near the city of Geneva, covering an area of 130 acres, or 54 hectares. From 1926 to 1931, the airfield's wooden sheds were replaced by 3 concrete hangars. At the time, there was a small amount of air traffic, with Lufthansa flying from Berlin to Barcelona via Halle, Leipzig, Geneva and Marseille. Swissair also flew the Geneva-Lyon-Paris route through a codeshare agreement with Air Union. By 1930, there were 6 airlines that flew to Geneva Airport on 7 different routes. 1937 saw construction of the first concrete runway. 1938, 8 airlines were flying to Geneva, namely Swissair, KLM, Lufthansa, Air France, Malet from Hungary, AB Aerotransport from Sweden, Alpar from Switzerland, and Imperial Airways from the UK. To provide with jet traffic in 1960, the runways was extended to over 12,000 feet, or 3,900 meters. This is unusually long for an airport of this size and could only be built after some territory was exchanged between France and Switzerland. The runway extension needed to use land that was then French, and an international agreement was needed whereby the necessary land was transferred from France to Switzerland, and territory of identical size, also adjacent to Ferney-Voltaire, transferred in the opposite direction. In this way, Switzerland remained exactly the same size, and its neutrality remained untarnished. The extension also resulted in the construction of the current tunnel leading to Ferney-Voltaire, and of the joint border post on its northern side, which is unusual for Switzerland in that it is entirely on French territory. In the process, the old hamlet of La Limite disappeared, although as of April 2013 a building from that area still stands, isolated within a motorway junction on the southern side of the runway. On the 7th of May 1968, Geneva Main Terminal was inaugurated, which was planned to accommodate 7 million passengers a year, this figure being reached in 1985. In 1987, Geneva Airport was linked to the Swiss rail system, and a new station built close to the main terminal. Geneva Airport has two passenger terminals. The newer and larger Terminal 1, also known as Main Terminal, is divided into 5 piers, A, B, C, D and F. Terminal 1 features the majority of flights, and the smaller and only seasonal used Terminal 2, which was the original terminal, is only used in the winter charter season. The airport also has a business aviation terminal known as Terminal 3. Currently, some 52 airlines operate into and out of Geneva Contrin Airport. So there you are, folks. There's some history, quite a bit of it to be honest. The airport's grown from its original size. And anyway, let's go and have a look at runways now, and look at this single runway and see what we can see. Okay, runways. We've lowered the lighting. It's mid to late June 2024. It's 9:15 in the evening local time. Sun's about to set. So Geneva Airport operates a single runway, 2204, measuring 12,795 feet or 3,900 meters, and it's made from concrete. The airport lies at an elevation of 1,411 feet or 430 meters and sits within the GMT UTC plus 1 hour time zone. Now, Switzerland, like most European countries, does indeed observe daylight saving time, or DST, and so currently, with the UK and Europe, most of Europe, already moving ahead 1 hour, the Geneva Airport remains 1 hour ahead of the UK. So runway 22, and we're looking down the throat of it now, features high-intensity runway lighting, high-intensity airfield lighting system version 2, touchdown zone lighting, runway end identifier lighting, centerline lighting, and precision approach path indicators on the left side. It also has the VOR in front of the runway, which you can see here, and the approach lighting system, half of which is missing. I'll put the chart up in the top corner here, and I'll circle the part that's actually missing. They're also missing the runway end identifier lights, which are 2 white lights that flash either side of the end of the runway here. But everything else is there: centerline, touchdown zone lighting, PAPIs on the left, high intensity lighting on the runway. They just need to reinstate the runway end identifier white lights either side here, and they need to develop the runway approach lighting system as per the chart, which is not complete, as you can see here. So approaches for this end, runway 22, you've got an instrument landing system, and this one is certified for both category 2 and category 3 low visibility operations. In addition, you have an RNP approach option and a surveillance radar approach, or SRA, landing option. So plenty of landing options here. The developer just needs to improve the runway to make it accurate as per the nav chart, which you have just seen that I put up in the top corner. So let's go down the other end, have a look at runway 04. Okay, so here we are looking down the throat of runway 04, the other end, which again features the same high-intensity runway lighting and high-intensity airfield lighting system. The centerline lighting is there, and you have precision approach path indicators on the left side. And everything is correct. The approach lighting this time is pretty much correct here, but they've got touchdown zone lighting, which, as I say, which unfortunately is not listed on this end of the runway. What I'll do is I'll just put the little section from the chart up so you can see. But again, everything else is fine. The only thing they've done is they've simply added this touchdown zone lighting. But no complaints really about this end. As I've said many times before, anything that adds to your ability to make a safe landing into a runway, I'm perfectly happy with. And touchdown zone lighting certainly could be pretty good in terms of any sort of low visibility landing. There's also a high-speed exit on the Bravo exit further up the runway as well, to which you can exit the runway after landing. Approaches, well, you have a standard instrument landing system at this end, no low visibility options. You have an RMP approach and surveillance radar approach, or SRA option, just like at the other end. And the runway is actually fully grooved. Just a small note as well, older Chapter 2 aircraft are no longer permitted at Swiss airports. There's a night ban in operation from 2400 or midnight to 05:59 local time. Landings and takeoffs are banned during this time except in special circumstances and with prior permission. So that does it for runways. Let's have a look at the Jetway now. And the Jetway thing is one of the kind of showstopper issues we have, even in version 1.1. So let's get to the Jetway test and I'll show you what I mean. So, Jetway test. As I said in the beginning, GSX Pro has been disabled. I'm having problems with it at the moment. So we've disabled GSX and we're back to the normal FlightSim 2020 menu. I've connected the tug. Aircraft is on stand 8. It's the PMDG 737-800 from my private airline. So let's connect the Jetway, see how it works. Oh, bit of a spring there. And the wheels move, but not terribly realistically. They're moving sideways there, look. That needs to be fixed, really. Right, so the hood hasn't moved, but it has gone right up to the aircraft side. Let's have a close look. So there you can see it's close to the side, but not quite. In fact, there's a noticeable gap at the bottom there, which wouldn't be allowed in the real world. Let's have a look from the other side. So there again you can see there's a noticeable gap. So let's pop inside the Jetway and see whether we can open the door and just see what that all looks like. So here we are inside the doorway. As you can see, there's a lot of clearance there. Opening the door, I don't think it's going to be a problem, but as you can see, the Jetway itself is too low. There you can see the bottom of the Jetway that actually hasn't gone up to the aircraft at all. And as you can see, the hood hasn't even moved forward to cover the aircraft. So maybe a little work needs to be done on these Jetways to make them more realistic and to make them fit. However, let's try opening the door. Well, as you can see, the door opens, but the door has impinged the side of the Jetway. So quick look from out from the inside first. So there you can see the Jetway doors at the end of the Jetway itself, which have been nicely modelled. But as you can see, the Jetway is way too low. So I just want to try and move the tug away and see if we can have a look at the ground markings. Of course, the moment I do that, the Jetway moves off. So as you can see, there are no ground markings here that I can see for which aircraft type. And again, looking at the top of the stand there, you can see the centre line goes all the way, but again, there are no stop marks or no ground markings for any aircraft types specifically. So I've just spawned the aircraft straight from the menu. Okay, so let's disconnect the Jetway. Bit of a delay there, but the Jetway swings away nicely. I mean, it's okay, the animation's okay. For me, they need to look very carefully at the height, and that, well, that shouldn't really happen. The animation needs looking at again, really. It's not that smooth, the wheels don't turn in the right direction, they kind of drag. But obviously, more importantly, the jetway is too low for the aircraft. I don't know whether Geneva actually has aircraft type markings on the ramp here. If it does, then they're missing. That needs to be looked at. So yeah, the jetway works, but really it's not really going to do much for you if you're flying the 737-800 into here. So there you go, that was a jetway test. Let's hope they revisit this scenery and have a look at the jetways and see whether they can make them work. As you can see from some of the other stands here, there are no aircraft type markings on the ramp at all, although the ramp looks nicely weathered. So, just for a change, I thought I would position the aircraft on one of these stands to see how it looks. Because you've got these various stop signs here. The entry to the stand points this way, yet when I spawned onto stand 33, aircraft's the wrong way round. And looking at it, this jetway's never really going to reach that door, even if I turn it round, because it's actually going to hit the aircraft. So we clearly have some jetway issues here, and even with this updated version 1.1, where they claim to have fixed some bugs, well, clearly they haven't fixed some of the showstoppers. So all I can say is, if you're coming to stand 33 off the taxiway here, you're going to have to stop short, have any chance of the jetway connecting to your door, which at the moment it's not. And concerning, we just looked at jetway 8, which just basically didn't connect at all. So this is a real showstopper. It's a real pity. I've never expected to see this level of sort of rubbish from Rdpresets. It's a really good developer, and yet this basic option here is not been really modelled well at all. But anyway, let's get down to the airport itself and have a look and see what has been done well. Okay, so let's start the main tour. Here we are at the southern end of the airport. You've got runway 04 threshold there to the left. I've lowered the time a little bit down. It's 4:30 in the afternoon now, just to give a slightly different lighting, rather than you get the sort of brash lighting that you get at midday. So let's take a slow tour and have a look at the detail and how this has been done. So as you can see, a little bit of studying here, but by and large, I mean, this is nice. This is the southern end here. You've got private jets here. And various bits of ground clutter. Right, I don't really know why I'm getting this juddering, but it does. It seems to peter out a little bit. While we're here, let's have a look at the tower. So there, from the outside, looks pretty good. So here's the inside of the tower there, which is nicely modelled. You can see out through the glass quite nicely. Looks pretty good from the outside. I suppose the one thing to take away from this image here is that the controllers are looking in the wrong direction. Taxiways and the runways out here, and yet they're seated and looking towards landside. That's a bit strange. And again, something the modelers might like to take just revisit. It just looks a little bit out of character for me. It looks a bit weird. No complaints about the modelling interiors. So it's beautiful. It's lovely. Well done. And the people. But yeah, they're looking in the wrong direction. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we continue our airside tour. And here you can see plenty of ground clutter. The stands look good. I really hope they solve the jetway issues, because that really would complete this airport. So as we come down, you can see there is interior development landside there, which we will look at in a bit. But as you can see, lots of good modelling. The jetways look pretty good. There are no missing bits, as it were. But visually they've got everything here. It looks really good. Masses of detail. And I really like what's been done. Here's the cargo area. And there is the snow base where they keep all the snow vehicles. Excellent, really nice. And here it's smoothed out a little bit. I think the scenery, to be honest, the scenery is great, but it could do with a little bit more optimization. I generally never get this degree of shuddering, as it were. But here you've got the works that's going on at the real airport. And it looks pretty good. You've got the fence line there, all in the correct place, stopping access into the restricted zone. Again, masses of detail, really good. So just going to tour landside here. I'm not going to try and do my best to keep this video short. A, because I don't have a lot of time to put it together with me going away this week. But also I don't want to bore you too much. But I do want you to see the amount of detail and the work they put into this. But as you can see, the detail is great. Loads to see. Lots that they've worked on. And you've got default scenery on the left there that seems to be honest, seems to sit pretty well with the work that they've done. Really, really great to see that they've done PBR 3D out here and not left it to photo ground. So let's go under the tunnel. So that's pretty impressive. The roadway's been done all the way under the building here, which is good. And here you can see yet more detail. It's been very, very nicely done. There's certainly a really good rendition of the airport. No complaints about that as such. Very nice indeed. Lots of signage, hoardings, advertising. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit of juddering up here. Little bit better here. They've got a train there. I wonder if that train's animated. Maybe not, because you've got that road there that's going through the tracks. Once again, some state-of-the-art modelling here with the buildings. It's really lovely. As you can see, it's pretty stunning. But as you can see, there's been quite a bit of work done here to get their scenery to mould in with the default. And you know, honestly, it doesn't look too bad at all. So let's do a couple of landside shots now. here you can see bicycles. First time I've seen this in a scenery, which is good. And here's a quick shot of a building landside just to show you the development capability. Here you see they've done some of the best sort of parallaxing that you'll see. It's at high resolution, it's done really well, and so it looks pretty realistic. And a quick look landside of this casino entrance. Nice to see a little area outside here where people would sit and have drinks. No people unfortunately, but yeah, it's still pretty good. Here's the main entrance to one of the terminals. A car and a bus lane, we've got no taxis or anything there. And a quick shot just looking away from the terminal there. Note the extensive use of solar panels on top of the terminal roof there. So there you've got a pizzeria, and what looks like fuel tanks here, car park underneath. And there's a higher level shot showing you landside. So a closer look at the satellites here, where my aircraft is parked the wrong way round. Let's have a look inside. Very nice, very nicely done. And the signage nicely done as well, you can read it close up, it's not blurred. And it looks great. Unfortunately, no passengers. Okay, so here we are inside the terminal, or part of it airside, which has been nicely done. Hoping to see some passengers maybe a bit further on. But nice view out of the windows there. Oh, now you've got unattended baggage. That's a no-no. That unfortunately is a real no-no. However, let's carry on. If you're going to have baggage lying around, it needs to be attended. Big security risk. Haven't seen any people yet. Engineer outside there. But you know, the modelling looks good. Looks really good, really does. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any people. And you've got baggage lying around all over the place, and that unfortunately is a big no-no. Police would be on it like a shot. A real pity, because the inside's been beautifully done, but no passengers. I just, you know, I failed to get it why they go to the lengths to model a terminal so as beautiful as this, but they don't put any people in it. And once again, excellent example of good high resolution parallaxing here on this building. Well, there's a really good attention to detail here. Here's the landside of the cargo area here. And they've done a marvellous job on this. I just can't get my head round why we haven't seen any people. Again, a good detailed signs, blue airfield edge lights, signs into the concrete, not just stuck in the grass. So here's the high speed exit when you're coming in on runway 04. And this takes you in. Again, good signage. And here's the approach onto runway 22 threshold. No wigwags or guard lights, but you got the signage as it should be. And there you have a high level shot showing you the airport. It looks really nice. The modelling is excellent. Okay, so there it was during the daytime. We've had a little bit of a tour to show you just how detailed the airport is. Let's drop it down to dusk now and have a look at the lighting. Okay, it's 9:30 in the evening local time. Lights came on about 5 minutes ago, and here's the high level shot. And yeah, it looks lovely, doesn't it? Lots of subtle lighting in pretty much everywhere where you need it. So let's tour airside and have a look. Try and get the speed right here for you to see. Okay, we've got some floating Asobo globes, but I'm not going to complain too much about that. Lighting looks really quite impressive. Green centerline lights there on the taxiway, which is good. Just what you need. There really is quite a lot of Asobo globes around here. I hadn't expected that. However, let's go along and have a look. Oh, it's very nice. It's very subtle. So here you can see partially inside the terminal there. But the ramp looks pretty good. Again, plenty of centerline lighting. I still get this amazing juddering. I really don't know why. I think maybe just the scenery. Oh, it's okay. It's a bit better now. Maybe it just needs optimizing. I don't know. So you've got some lighting on the ends of the jetways, which is good, a really good thing. Let's pop into the tower. And there you go. Really nice inside the tower as well, even though they're facing the wrong way. So we're looking landside. I mean, this is just some lovely colouring and lighting here. It's very nice. And here you can see plenty of down lighting. And the reflection of these aircraft have got their wing lights on. You've got a reflection onto the concrete, which is interesting. And open hangars over there. It's, yeah, very nice. You've got a hangar there that you can put your aircraft in if necessary. I mean, that looks great. I mean, that's a nice shot there. The sun's disappearing really right down now. You can just see the snowy mountains in the background. And there we are looking down the runway. You can see the touchdown zone lighting, and you've got these details on the other side of the western side of the runway. So a quick look while we're here. Yeah, very nice. Really nice here. Helicopter pads. Right, so here we are back on my stand, and again, nice to see the ends of the jetway lit. That looks good. And there you can see the satellite. We're looking in, and there's lighting inside as well, which looks good. Lots of airports come to life at night time. And here's a look at the main parking area. And yeah, you can see inside, there's obviously lighting inside there. And as we take a slow run over airside here at dusk, you know, I really like the way this is done. It's been very nice. The lighting looks great. I think, like I said, the scenery just needs to be optimized. We're getting a fair amount of juddering in various parts. But as you can see, there's a delicate variation of colours in the lighting, which I think looks really good, to be honest. Okay, let's drop it down to night time now. Okay, 10:30 in the evening now, local time. As you can see, the sun's pretty much gone. We've got a moonlit clear night here, and the lighting has indeed come up, as indeed it usually is. And there we are, looking down towards the threshold of 04 in the distance and the main terminal. Let's get a bit closer to the main terminal complex. So there's my aircraft parked on the stand, and as we said, it's the wrong way round. You've got one or two little issues here with the scenery where the jumps. Here you can see the satellite sort of taking a little bit of while to get itself sorted out. Here's a close-up view of one of the other satellites. The interior just the same, but really nicely done, but no passengers. And a close look at the main terminal. Here you can see in through the glass into what would be passengers airside, and there you've got an aircraft parked as well. It's great, it looks lovely. Couple of quick shots looking over landside for you. And there's landside of the main terminal, showing you the car park and the landside area. And there we are in the other direction. Okay, so that was night time. Just a brief look at some of the airport areas for you. I should be in the right position. Let's bring the dawn up and have a look at the glow on the buildings. Okay, 6:20 in the morning. As you can see, the sun's come up and the buildings are beginning to sort of light up in the sun. Beautiful mountainscape there at the back. It really is nice. And there you've got the lake, the threshold of runway 22 up in the top corner there, and the sun's beginning to come up quite nicely there. Very, very nice. Okay, it's 8 AM and time to wrap up the review and give you my thoughts. First of all, let's look at the positives. This is a beautiful scenery, very, very close to the real airport, particularly in terms of the runway textures, the ramp and the apron, and the sheer number of buildings and small details that have gone into this project. It's really good. It's definitely a good competitor to the Red Wing version, which came out earlier, and it's a little bit cheaper. It's really good. Let's have a look at the negatives. That even with this update, version 1.1, there are some real showstoppers. The Jetways clearly do not align with the aircraft properly. I'm a bit concerned that I spawned onto stand 33 the wrong way round. As somebody who's not a developer, I can't say whether that's the scenery by Rdpresets or whether it's a SOBO. Maybe it's worth doing a test with the default scenery and see if the same thing happens. I don't know, but that needs to be fixed, or if there's any way that could be fixed, it really does need to be. And as I said, the Jetways do not connect properly. The animation really isn't that brilliant. That needs to be revisited. And a couple of other things. The control tower, beautifully done, and some people in there, but they're facing the wrong way. They should be looking out over the airfield, and they're actually looking out landside. That was a bit weird, but again, something that probably could be fixed quite easily. And also, you know, with such a wonderful airport, I'm a bit concerned at the lack of people models. As I've said in a few other sceneries, you can now get people models that have practically no hit on the frame rate. So there's no reason not to populate a terminal or parts thereof if you've decided to model it in the way that you've done. And they've done a lovely job in terms of modelling, even though they've not decided to put any taxis or any people landside. Okay, I can deal with that. But inside the airside departure lounge, you've got some nice modelling, but you've got lots of bags lying around and no passengers, no people at all. Those bags need to have passengers, otherwise that's a serious security risk. That's actually in violation of the IATA Charter on airport security. I think the regulation is EC 300, which is what we used to have to adhere to when we were part of the EU and when I was working in airport security at Heathrow and Gatwick. So having baggage unattended in an airside departure lounge, or landside for that matter, is a big no-no. So yeah, in the next version, maybe 1.2, I'd like to see a couple of passengers with those bags, maybe the odd airline staff at a check-in gate. Turn the guys around in the control tower in the right direction so they're looking out over the airport. But just as importantly, the animation, the Jetway animation, needs to be looked at and fixed. And I think whoever looked at that situation maybe needs to place a few aircraft on the different gates, particularly on the satellite piers, and just checked that when you spawn from the menu, they're spawning correctly in the right direction and in the right place. There are no aircraft markings on the ground at the various stands. That may be the case in the real world. I don't know. If it is, then there it is. That's fair enough. But if you're not going to put aircraft stand markings, then you probably need to think about where you're going to spawn the aircraft. So that needs to be fixed, really, in my opinion. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the modelling is beautiful. It's typical Rdpresets standards. They're really good at what they do. I just think somewhere, somehow, there's a bit of laziness involved here, where they've just not gone the extra mile to make this the brilliant piece of scenery that it really needs to be. In fact, it's close. It's 88%. But they need to fix the issues I've discussed. I'll put them up in a little list now for you. So if the developer watches this, they can have a look at that. But apart from that, it's a brilliant airport, and it's a real competitor to the Red Wing version. Got no qualms about that. So there you are. It's Geneva Contrin Airport in Switzerland. Lima Sierra Golf Golf. Payware scenery by Rdpresets. Currently you're looking at version 1.1 for the PC version of FlightSim 2020. I was initially given version 1, and then today, I think before I started this tour, version 1.1 was released via Sim Market, so I've gone to that update. And yeah, I did a Jetway test with version 1.1 of the same problem. Anyhow, there you go. Download is 1.24 gigs, installs at 3.13 gigs, available from Sim Market and priced at €21.59, which equates to $23.14 US or £18.26 UK. As ever, those prices are estimates taken from the euro, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, which could vary depending where you are, where you live in the world when you make the purchase. I think it's just about worth the price. It certainly will be if they fix the issues we've talked about, because it's a really good piece of scenery. But the issues I've talked about in the list I've just shown you really need to be attended to make this another top-notch product. And these guys are top-notch. Make no doubt about it. Rdpresets have been around a while, and there are some nice sceneries that they've done, and I've reviewed a few. So there you are, folks. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for watching this review. I hope it's given you some idea as to what this scenery is like and whether or not you should purchase it. And Rdpresets, if you're watching, seriously, those things I've mentioned need to be looked at. And I think if they're fixed, you've got in a really top-notch piece of work. And thank you very much for sending me a copy to review. So, any of you watching the video living in the US who are nearby, I will be in Las Vegas this weekend for the FlightSim Expo 24 show, assuming I can get there. I'm supposed to be flying into LA, and there are wildfires there, but we'll see whether I can manage that. So hoping to see you guys, put faces to names, and yeah, looking forward to that very much. So thank you for watching, guys. I'm probably not going to get the Bembridge video out, unfortunately. I'll put a note up about that. I did try to get some stuff sorted out over the weekend to prepare, but it's going to have to wait until next week. So website will be updated probably on Tuesday after I get back and get over the jet lag next week, and then we'll get into some more reviews. So thanks very much. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot. I'll see you in the next review. Take care. Bye bye for now.